have it. So this is just like a low carb day, I guess. Sadly, I don't eat as many carbs. I definitely feel worse in the gym too.
Ooh.
Okay, well, if your body's running on sugar and you don't give it enough sugar, what's going to happen? You're going to be tired. If your body runs on fat and you don't feed it enough fat, you're going to be tired. You answered your own question, Joey.
Pretty much. Yeah. I think one of the issues that I think Joey did experience or is continuing to experience isn't so much on the physiological side of things, but, with anyone, we all grew up in this modern era. We
Mm-hmm.
all grew up eating carbohydrates at an extensive amount, meaning, you know, at least more than 50 grams of carbs pretty much every day. I think definitely what he has been experiencing is some carb addiction. That's a huge psychological component that a lot of people, not just him, even I did at some stage, really did deny. He's either in denial of it or just isn't aware of it. Of course, you're gonna feel better when you eat carbohydrates. You've been so accustomed to it. You've built neural pathways to be
Yeah.
able to feel the satisfaction of eating carbohydrates, and it's also in our biology. I mean, the way I look at it is that because of its scarcity, we are seekers for energy substrates. We needed either energy from carbohydrates or from fats, and when we could get it, we made sure we got it.
Another thing I want to point out too is that he says he has low energy with his workouts. Look at me and you, for instance. We eat 0 carbs a day, most
Mm,
like 90% of the year, and we
yeah.
train high intensity style training. We do the most intense training you could possibly do in the gym, absolute gut wrenching failure, and we do that with 0 carbs, and we don't have problems with energy.
Absolutely.
So if he wants help with that, he should probably go to somebody like Jonathan or Jerome, one of the carnivore bodybuilding coaches, or
Mm.
Colt Milton.
Because it can be done. I think there's a right way to go on about increasing exercise intensity and also how you feel in the gym whilst being fat adapted. So I don't know about you, man, because for me, like it just felt natural for me to like I said, natural for me to train without carbohydrates, and I didn't really experience many problems transitioning into the gym whilst being zero carb.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, man?
So that brings me back to a video Joey did a little while ago, and he said that you cannot grow with carbs. It's not optimal. You can't build muscle.
Mm,
I'm not entirely sure about that, but possibly he said that you cannot build muscle without carbs. Just something along the lines of that. And buddy, I want you to go take a look at my Instagram right now. I started literally from nothing. I was a bag of skin and bones. I built all my muscle on the carnivore diet, all my strength on the carnivore diet, especially with this high intensity training. I I'm the proof. I am the proof in the pudding, and I'm still going. So I'm happy to speak out about it and be
mm,
honest and show everybody how I do it in my videos and stuff.
yeah.
I made lots of gains on the carnivore diet, and it's possible.
And same for me, man, on the strength side of things. So a couple of months ago, trained in powerlifting, and I went from deadlifting pretty much my body weight to nearly deadlifting 3 times my body weight. So I mean, yeah, it can happen. I'm just saying, anecdotally, that's my anecdote.
But yeah, there's a good diet for humans, and it's an organic whole diet where people need to test what they do best on.
Where's the data for that? And you haven't specifically defined what an organic diet looks like.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Again, what does he mean by organic? It can mean a lot of things.
Me, I can eat a whole plate of like tons of potatoes, like mostly potatoes, some meat, some butter, some cheese, like some rice, that sort of thing. It's all good.
So can I. I could do that too. So what? So what?
Even ice cream, honestly, organic sugar, like it's not the end of the world. You guys would probably lose your minds if you saw how much.
What's organic ice cream?
Organic ice cream is basically just organic grass-fed milk used to make the ice
Right.
cream. All organic ingredients, no additives, no gums, no emulsifiers, raw dairy. Raw dairy.
Raw dairy.
I make my own organic ice cream and it's super healthy, but I'm pretty sure the ice cream he's talking about contains lots of sugar, like actual cane sugar, which
Yeah.
yeah, it's not good for you. Again, because glycation, because the Randall cycle.
And not to mention, how organic can sugar get? Like you just mentioned, sugar canes. That's the organic form that it comes from. How do you get sugar from sugar canes? You've got to process it.
Exactly.
Much organic ice cream I've been eating. Bart K would actually have a tantrum if he saw how much carbs and fats I've been mixing.
I don't think Barkley will give a damn about what you're doing right now.
So I think it's because he's so young, he thinks he can get away with all the carbs and sugar, but that stuff will catch up with you later on. Accelerated aging, glycated cells, that's going to be with you. That's going to catch up with you. So yeah, you can do it right now and feel okay, but it's still damaging you inside. And later on, you're going to have the effects from it. So
Yeah.
I do not agree with that at all.
You definitely will feel the repercussions, if not sooner, later on, depending on your current physical status, whether or not you're exercising or, living life actively.
When do
But for the
most
most
chronic
part,
diseases take place? Later in life.
later on in life. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It's at the same time, Bart K is the one who's like, insulin is, you don't want to spike insulin throughout the day. When you mix carbs and fats, it actually lowers the insulin spike, whereas in comparison to consuming just carbs and protein, for example.
Well, that's wrong because you can spike your insulin eating both a mixed macro diet and eating a high carb diet. He obviously has no experience, life experience in that. I look after patients, and every time I check someone a patient who's diabetic, I check their blood sugar after a meal. It's always gonna spike up.
Fats and carbs, in my opinion, are meant to be consumed together. That's why mashed potatoes taste so good. Why would mashed potatoes taste so good? Butter and regular potatoes don't taste that good on their own. They taste good together.
Well, when you
Yeah.
add both together, you get double the addiction.
Hey man, it tastes good because carbohydrates are they are addictive, aren't they? Carbs and fats, they are sought for by human beings for energy substrates. That's what we use for energy. Of course, it's gonna be addictive.
Yeah, of course it's going to taste good when you add butter to potatoes. When you dairy has sugar in it as well. It has dairy sugar. And when you combine that with more sugar, of course it's going to taste good. It's going to be addictive.
Yogurt and fruit, right? Rice and meat. Butter literally makes any carb taste better. Any starch, anything. There's a reason for it. Our bodies aren't stupid. When we're talking about whole foods, we're not talking about red 40 and pesticides and bullshit. We can trust our body's intuitions.
So why do we have so many health problems in today's society? And majority of people are eating a mixed macronutrient diet. If we trust our intuition, if I trusted my intuition, I would have kept eating the way I was eating till I died.
Yeah.
Because it freaking tasted good, man. I love burgers. I love ramen. I love pizza.
Yeah, carbs they can definitely help you eat more because they mess with your hunger signals and your hunger hormones. And yeah, whenever I have a little bit of fruit every now and then, I do find that I can eat much, much more because it just increases your appetite. And then he says, trust your intuition, trust your body. But that's not really your body. That's the carbs stopping your leptin, your hunger hormones from being signaled. So you are tricked into eating more and more because you don't feel full. If you're eating a high carb diet, you can't really trust your intuition that much.
When we take out all the unnatural inputs, our body's instant responses are usually pretty reliable, in my opinion at least. For me, I still think that raw is better. I don't think it's as important as the primals make it out to be, but I do think it's definitely the best thing. I'm pretty sure about that.
He has no scientific evidence to back up that claim. I've seen his video with Bar K about the issue. I do like that he's toned down a little bit on that because he used to be like, raw meat is everything. Raw meat is the absolute best. But it does sound like he toned that down a little bit because he said it's not what the primals think it is to be. So, I mean, can't really hit on him for that, but I don't think you need to eat raw meat to fully optimize all the nutrients in it. So a little bit of a disagreement there, but I am glad he toned down the whole idea that raw meat is some special food.
Don't mind him saying that because it's about him and his anecdote. That's all that really matters. And at the end of the day, who cares what anyone else eats? That's what he thinks he does well in. And so he's not made that general claim that raw meat is better for everyone.
Yeah, cook your meat however you want to eat it, man. That's how I see it. Yep.
I think if the goal was to be optimal, like with diet, it would just be you eat when you're hungry. You don't eat in the middle of the night like Audrina says, but you eat a good breakfast, a good lunch, a good dinner, and you eat mostly raw, and all your foods are from the earth. You eat fruits, vegetables, you eat meat, dairy, eggs, really whatever your body craves and whatever's accessible in whatever region of the world you live in.
Again, that I don't agree with. As we talked about, obviously, if you're craving something that's not appropriate for you to consume for a species, then that's not going to be good for you in the long term. For example, and I won't use carbohydrates in this instance, alcohol. Some people crave alcohol.
Yep.
You notice that? Yeah. Are you going to start
yeah.
saying that alcohol is good for you? Because it's their intuition. Their body is telling them that they need alcohol. Cigarette smoking, cocaine, marijuana.
If you can go out and forage in the wilderness, find a wild apple tree, find a wild carrot, find wild whatever, go ahead, do what you're going to do, eat that. But at the end of the day, all the studies show that we literally, all we ate was meat and all we had was meat for most of the time. Because if you understand how the ice ages work, glacial periods last on average 100,000 years. Interglacial periods, warmer periods, last around 10,000 years. So that means over 100,000 years at a time, we would barely have access to vegetation at all. And this was the thing for millions of years. So if meat wasn't all we needed, we wouldn't be here. We would not be here.
That's what impacted our biology, how it's shaped, how we've developed, and so you can't deny that meat eating is in our biology, and not just meat eating, but exclusively eating meat and fats.
Wild varieties of fruits and vegetables tend to be a lot more bitter, a lot more sour, not sweet at all, a lot higher in fiber, a lot lower in sugar. They tend to be a lot more on the side of healthier. So I do like, if you are going to eat carbs, the healthiest carbs to eat would be like organic, wild varieties that actually grow on the earth naturally without human intervention. That part I agree with, but every time I see a video of him eating something, it's always of something that's been genetically modified or something that has super high sugar content in it, which we've already discussed is not good for you. Sugar is literally the basis for diabetes, Alzheimer's, cancer, all kinds of different diseases. This has been proven so many times. So I can't agree with him on that part.
And you just subsist on that. And that's basically what I've been doing. I mean, like, we're about to go to Mexico, and I found a farm in Mexico where they have everything you could possibly want. So it's all the raw dairy, raw goat dairy comes in glass. Any meat I could want, the best quality, all grass finished, no antibiotics or injections or what have you. So it's basically everything I could want. I haven't found like a good quality starch, or I haven't even looked. So if I don't find it, I'll probably just eat a bunch of pineapples and meats and eggs, dairies, like whatever I can find there. If I'm in France, I'm gonna eat an organic baguette. If I'm in Eastern Europe, I'm gonna eat a bunch of potatoes. You know, you eat what the people eat. And if you listen to all the longest living people, what are the keys to longevity? It's always low stress. There's one that just went viral where they asked this old Italian couple who was like 110 years old, what are the secrets to longevity? And then what they said was good pasta, good wine, and never go to sleep without solving an argument. Causes longevity.
That's a
Yeah.
false claim. Where's the evidence for that? Show us the scientific evidence to support that claim.
Gluten, the proteins found in wheat, like gluten and gliadin, all damage the intestinal barrier and cause gut dysfunction. How does that increase your longevity?
Yeah.
I would love to know.
Yeah, mechanistically, it doesn't make sense.
Good quality water too. It's a big one. No birth control, fluoride bullshit in the water. That's a big one for sure. Yeah.
Whew, he's done.
Yep.
Jeez. Oh man. Hey, but anyways, Josh, any last thoughts for our friend Joey here? Anything you want to sort of summarize, wrap up about our review of this video?
Yeah, it does look like he's trying to eat the healthiest he can wherever he goes in terms of the fruit, like getting fresh, organic, like plucked fresh fruit right off the tree or whatever. It does look like he's trying a little bit, but then he's giving misinformation about a lot of other things like gluten and carbs and sugar that I think is very damaging to a lot of people's health and is not good advice. I do agree that if you're going to eat carbs, you should eat the most organic, natural carbs you can find, which would be the wild varieties, which for some reason he does not talk about. And he proceeds to eat the genetically modified varieties. So I don't agree with that. But for the most part, I agree with like pretty much everything else. Drinking the water out of the glass bottles, eating as much meat as you can, high quality beef, and getting sunlight, grounding, all that other stuff that he promotes. So, I mean, yeah, I'm about 90% there with him. Just when he goes and bashes the carnivore diet, I do not agree with that. He uses carbs. He tries to he's trying to fuel his carb addiction and trying to say that it's okay, but really, I don't think it is.
That diet that he made a generalization of cannot be backed up with any science. You don't have any evidence scientifically to prove that your diet that you're eating right now, Joey, is the only proper diet for humans. It's your opinion, which is fine. You can have your opinion.
A little bit of a hot take, I guess, but us in the carnivore community, we're not even saying you shouldn't eat fruit, you shouldn't eat vegetables. Basically, that if you want to optimize your health, to eat more meat and more meat. And carnivore is originally an elimination diet. So you can add stuff back in and see how your body reacts. This is where individuality comes in. and you can see how your health and your body reacts to different things. A carnivore is defined as an animal that eats mostly meat. You do not have to eat only meat. I believe that, yes, some people can have a little bit of carbs on the side, a little bit of sugar on the side, but I think if you really want to optimize your health, with everything being genetically modified and altered from what it originally was, I think the best thing you can do is stick to an all meat diet, because the fruit and vegetable varieties that existed hundreds of thousands of years ago don't exist anymore today. We're eating peaches that are this big when they used to be like this big, watermelon that's this huge that used to be this small. The quantity, the size of what used to exist, it's just so different now. Like, but the way he's going about it is saying that this is not a proper human diet, when it actually is, because we survived on only meat for hundreds of thousands of millions of years. And yeah, we do retain some of our evolutionary capabilities, like the ability to handle a little bit of plant material. I do believe that, but we shouldn't be eating it all the time, every day, and just constantly glycating our cells and spiking our insulin. And a lot of the problems today can be solved with a carnivore diet. There's nothing you need from carbs, just a survival food.
You know what? Like at the end of the day, too, and it's just my hot take on this as well. We will never know. We will never know what the proper human diet is. We have strong inferences from science to tell us what human beings have eaten, and how human beings have evolved, and we can make decisions of what we want to do for our own health based off the inferences that we've got. But to definitively know what the proper human diet is, you would have needed to be present at the time of when human beings ate a largely carnivorous diet. We did not see what those human beings ate. So that's the, I guess, controversial thing that I wanted to bring up, is that, yeah, we can not only do the best we can with the information and the science that we've got. And so if Joey wants to believe that his diet is the only proper diet for him, so be it.
So be it.
Live your life.
Yep.
Live your life. You do you, and I'll do me.
Just like I say before, with like the people who do carnivore that want to have a coffee, artificial sweeteners, element, a little bit of fruit on the side. Yeah, it's fine, but don't promote that as good. We're not all perfect. We're not all going to be 100% carnivore all the time. We're going to slip up. We're going to eat something we shouldn't. At least make sure it's the best quality of whatever you can have.
All right, Josh. Well, I think that wraps up the video. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for, sitting with me and sharing your thoughts on our friend Joey here. Joey, if you do watch, again, nothing personal, nothing against you, man. I do hope that you do see this and actually reach out. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.